We move on through this programme. The next race scheduled to be on the blocks, the start of the PR3 Mixed Coxed 4 race.
So it will be a PR3 Coxed 4. The athletes will actually have one oar each. And there will be a Cox probably lying down inside all of these boats. I think these are all bow loaded. And these are the crews we'll be watching in this A final.
So the lineup: Israel, Russia, Australia, Italy, United States and Great Britain. So the crew from Israel in lane 1. They took the win in Rotterdam at the World Cup. Russian Federation in lane 2. Stroke by Evgeny Borisov.
Lane 3, Australia.
Australian crew in lane 3.
Ben Gibson, James Talbot, René Domashens.
Here's the Italian lineup: Greta Muti in the stroke seat.
Cristina Scazzosi, Alessandro Brancato, Lorenzo
Had a silver medal from the Poznan World Cup earlier this season. Finishing just behind this crew from the United States. They took the gold medal in Poznan.
Alexandra Riley, Charlie Norden, John Tangy, Danielle Hansen and Karen Petrick.
Blade of the Great Britain crew.
In lane 6, Great Britain.
Favourites for this race, stroke by Ollie Stanhope.
Oliver Stanhope and Erin Wisocki-Jones.
Russia, Australia, Italy, United States, Great Britain. Attention. Red light.
And you heard the umpire, I think it was Mike Hegarty, say red light for the visually impaired athletes. And then the sound of the buzzer, which means the athletes can drive off the start into the first part of this race.
Drive off the start, indeed they do. These Coxed 4s slightly slower to come up to pace, with the Coxes lying down inside the boats. And we see all the crews now as they come out through these red buoys just coming up to full length. And it looks like a flying start there for the crew in lane number 2. That's the Russians who've got their boat up to speed really quickly.
Yeah, they did a 1:42 in the semi-final. Britain did a 1:39. Russians were the next quickest. They got rowed through during that race in the second 500 by USA and Italy. But they certainly started out quickly, and well, the British back here in second, third position, but the Russians flying through the 250 metre mark. I think the rest of the field will come back to them as we go into the second 250 of this first 500 metres, but certainly an amazingly impressive start, and shows the power from Evgeny Borisov in the stroke seat. There he is, that prosthetic hand. Just a marvellous picture that is. So inspirational to watch these athletes drive their boats across the surface of the water in this A final of the PR3 Mixed Coxed 4s.
That's the Russian crew leading this ahead of Great Britain, and Great Britain starting to push back now. Their Cox, Erin Wisocki-Jones, can probably see that she's on par with the Russian crew now. She'll be focusing in on their race plan. Absolutely fantastic regatta for this lineup. They've set the world best time earlier on in the regatta.
6:49.24. Not quite on that pace through the 500 metres mark, but Britain come through to lead the Russians. USA in third, Italy in fourth.
Yeah, not quite on world best time pace, but as we look at Ollie Stanhope in the stroke seat, today's not a day for world best times. There's a gentle head breeze on the course, but it's nothing to speak of now, as the conditions really fair right across the course. I think sitting from here, and the British have got into their rhythm and started to move on that American crew. The fast starting Russians over there in lane 2 moving back, and the rest of the field coming up towards them.
A look here at the USA Cox. That's the features of Karen Petrick. Just 21 years of age.
From Glastonbury, Connecticut, went to the University of Rhode Island.
If only seeing her just dip her fingers in the water there and then just put that water onto her face, and maybe just to clean the glasses fogging up, I would imagine.
I have to say this British crew technically look fantastic. All the work that's been done between them and their coach Nick Baker paying off at this stage of the race. USA in second place, Russia still in third, the fast starting Russians, but the field beginning to come back to the Russians.
Yeah, that work Great Britain have done, really, we're seeing that here. It's a new lineup for Great Britain this year. They won the World Championships last year, so 3 returning members of that crew. Ollie Stanhope in the stroke seat, Erin Winsocki-Jones, the coxswain, and Ellen Buttrick. So a new lineup for them coming into this season. We'll just pan back and take a look at them in that lead. It's now a good deal of clear water ahead of the USA.
Well, here they are, they're coming up to the 1,000 metres, and this is business as usual for this British crew. We're going to see them come through with about a length of clear water lead. They are at 33 strokes a minute. They're currently still the fastest moving boat on the course, and they'll be pleased to be putting a gap between them and the crew from the United States. This is the crew, we see them here looking pretty good in the silver medal position right now.
I think Australia out of shot. Vinnie, Villeman, Gibson, Talbot and Domashuk are making a move over there on that lane 3. Out of shot. Russia still in second place over there in lane 2.
Well, you're right, Martin. It's a pretty close race up for the bronze medal now as the Russian crew are coming back towards the field. The Australians currently 4th, and the crew from Italy aren't out of that completely either.
Here's the Russians in 3rd place. Under pressure, though, from the Australians and the Italians. And the Italians had a faster last quarter than the Russians in the semi-final. The Australians about the same pace as the Russians, so the Italians, if you look at the semi-final splits, marginally the favourites to come through and take the bronze medal. Only Domashuk, the Australian cox. All these boats have coxes because it may be partially sighted athletes, so it can't be just the coxless 4 like you see in the Olympic class events. These paraboats have coxes to guide them along the path.
And what the cox of that Australian boat will see is that they are just moving into bronze medal position. You can see it on the graphic. You saw it on the picture there, that bow of the Australian boat just getting out in front. This is the Italians. They're currently in 5th position, but looking also to put pressure on, as that is the Australian bow coming through those fast-starting Russians. We should get this view across the whole course. The British looking fantastic, still at the front of the field. That gap has got bigger. They are still the fastest moving. The United States here in silver, and how about this race for bronze?
It's a well spread out field, isn't it? Australia have come through the Russians to take bronze, but the Italians have got the quicker last 500 in their pocket. It's going to be a great race, I think, for the line for this bronze medal. There are the Australians in 3rd place, desperate to hold off the charging Italians.
Yeah, the Italians sitting there 35 strokes a minute at the moment. They're just out of shot. Australia are holding them off, but Italy just 4 metres behind. This is the race for the bronze medal. Great Britain are way out there in front. Imperious performance from them. Here's the Italians, 35 strokes a minute.
Throwing everything in, aren't they?
They absolutely are. Greta Muti in the stroke seat.
2 men in the middle, the tandem in the middle, and the bowwoman Cristina Scazzozzi absolutely putting everything in. She's really pushing for it. There's the race for the bronze medal.
Great shot from above there. You can see what you describe as a tandem, Martin, in the bottom boat. The Italians, the 2 oars going out in the middle of the boat. It used to be called a spaghetti rig. It came from the Moto Guzzi Club near Lake Como. Was the first time we saw boats put together like that. This Italian boat has that rig. Interesting, the 2 men on the stroke side, the 2 women on the bow side, but the boat is moving straight, the boat is moving fast, and the bow ball is just getting in front.
There's the silver medal, or the bronze medal crew. The Australians just trying to get into that bronze medal race, but Italy are ahead of them for the bronze medal as we will cut to the line. And the British crew, Buttrick, Ruskikaite, Fox, Stanhope and Winsocki-Jones will cross the line. Ollie Stanhope, the former Hampton schoolboy, takes his boat across the line. They win gold. They become the 2019 world champions in the PR3 mixed Cox 4s. Enough time to say that for the Americans to finish. Riley Nordin, Tanguy Hansen, the Cox Petrick take the silver medal, and the Italians just stay ahead of the Australians in that desperate fight for the bronze medal. Scazzozzi, Brancato, Bernard Muti and Farina take the bronze.
big celebration from the Italian Cox in there. Lorena Fuina just hitting the water.
Well, Martin, you were comparing Coxes earlier to Giuseppe Di Capua of the famous Italian Abagnale brothers Cox pair. How about that celebration from the Italian Cox there, punching the decking of the boat as they came across the line to claim that fantastic bronze medal.
What a celebration, what a race, what a win for the Great Britain crew.
There we see them, you see the amount of work they have done, how hard they had to work. They were back in the field, back 5th place they were at 1,000, 5th place still with 500 to go, but managed to come through the fast starting Russians and the Australians in that last 500.
A prosthetic just there for the Russian stroke man. Great shots, close-up action. Cox is just having that onboard computer to look at the speed of their boat, the ratings of their crew. And that's the British coxswain that you're looking at, Erin Wysocki-Jones. It's always very attractive for the cameraman, isn't it? There's that little shot of the American Cox just dipping her hand into the water. Karen Petrick just cooling down in the middle of that race. The bulk of Charlie Nordin in the 2-seat. That crew. Wind just edging up a little bit. Feel the breeze through the front of our box here. Hands in the air from the giant British 3-man James Fox.
And there's the confirmation: gold for Great Britain, silver for the United States, and bronze for Italy in the PR3 mixed Cox 4s.